guys, here it is, Battletech's Emperor EMP-1A from Iron Wind Metals. This is an assault mech, a pretty ancient one. It's from the XTRO Primitives book, and it is a 90-tonner. So this is actually a pretty ancient mech. Came out even before the Age of War. And again, this is an Iron Wind metal model. There's no base, just 5 components. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. We'll take a closer look at each component, and then I'm going to assemble it, and we'll talk a little bit about the Emperor EMP-1A. Alright, not much to say about this model. It is 5 components. You have your 2 arms here, your 2 legs, and the waist, as well as the top of the torso. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. It's actually a very well-detailed model for an Iron Wind Metals mech. I do need to clean it up a little bit. There's a bit of flash right there. But I like the look of this mech, even though it's actually considered a primitive mech, assault mech. So here's one of the arms. Again, a bit of flash on the bottom there. The other arm. Looks like the same weapon on both arms. And then you have the waist, hips, and 1 leg. And then lastly, the other leg. So really, it's only 5 components. This looks like it's going to be very easy to put together. Again, as with all metal models, you want to wash this off with some soap and pat it dry, and then use super glue or some type of strong adhesive to keep this together. If you need to, you can also pin the model, but I doubt that I'm going to need to pin this model because the components themselves are not that heavy. Possibly the torso to the waist, but I think it'll glue just fine without pinning. So I'm going to go ahead and put it together, and then we're going to take a closer look at it, and then I want to discuss a little bit about the Emperor EMP-1A, its background, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, here it is, the Emperor EMP-1A. This is the most primitive version. This is basically the mech that was designed after the Mackie was released. So this is a pretty ancient mech. There are newer versions of the Emperor out there, more specifically the 6A, which are superior to this. But at the time that this mech was released, it was a 90-ton assault mech that had quite a bit of armor and was pretty much the first assault mech to have jump jets installed on it. So there's not much to say. I'm going to actually zoom this in so you guys can see. It is primed currently in gray sear. And I'm not quite sure what I will be putting this into, but I love the look of this mech. It's beefy. It's intimidating. Its weaponry is not so much intimidating. The 2 arms actually has an AC5 each, and there are 3 medium lasers on there, and that's it. It's not a very potent mech in terms of damage output, but it is a 90-tonner, and maybe at the time that it was created and released, it would have been something intimidating to face on the battlefield, but in a more modern context for Battletech, it's not the most intimidating, but it is a very beautiful looking mech, and I'm actually happy to have this as part of my collection. This is, as I've stated, my first Iron Wind Metals model, and it is a beautiful model, especially in its current state of being primed. You can actually see all the detail on here, and I think I will be using contrast paints to paint this up, so that'll really make the mech pop here. And I'm definitely going to be fielding this in one of my lances or one of my companies. I just don't know what I'm going to be painting it as. Currently, my main faction is the Taurian Volunteer Guard, but I doubt that the Taurians would have a mech of this caliber. So it's a beautiful mech. I love it. I'm going to bring up some more data about it that you guys can take a look at, and then we're going to wrap the video up from there.